spider can, spins a web any size, catches thieves just like flies. Look out, here comes the Spider-Man. To him, life is a great big day. Wherever there's a hang, you'll find a Spider-Man.
Spider-Man 3. This was a movie I was actually very interested in watching because it's definitely the most divisive movie out of the trilogy. The first one, people just kind of add in when talking about the trilogy. The second one is regarded as the best, and this one's regarded as the worst. I do not agree with that. I'm still, while recording this, still trying to think of where I want to put it. But this one definitely, first of all, felt more cinematic. It felt more like a superhero movie rather than the homemade feel of the original two. That's not a bad thing. It still feels like the original two. So, one thing I definitely did like about this movie is Mary Jane and Peter's relationship. It definitely felt more like a real relationship, like with actual troubles and such. Speaking of that, I also love how the movie and the whole trilogy ended with them two. Not necessarily together, but just with them two. Because this trilogy was never about Spider-Man. It was always about Peter Parker, which is something I really loved. One of the biggest things holding this movie back was the fact that it had so many plot lines going for it. But honestly, it didn't do it the best. But with 3 different villains with 3 different backstories, all relating to Spider-Man, who on himself basically has 3 different storylines going, I think it did it way better than any movie could ever do it. Like, we say that this is bad, but that was just a trouble from the start. They executed this really well. The Sandman stuff was really engaging. The actor was fantastic at the role. At first, I was thinking I wouldn't like it, but he's definitely. It may seem weird, but I really like him as a villain. I like him way more than Doc Ock. And a lot of people complained about how they changed the motives of him killing Uncle Ben, but honestly, I find it to be just fine. It gives him some, connection to Peter, and it also goes into his dark backstory. Harry, the stuff that I really didn't get was him getting amnesia, because that literally made no sense. They could have just had him not have amnesia, and it would have been fine. It would have been more impactful if he or Mary Jane ended up falling in love with him. If he didn't have amnesia, And then the Venom. Let's talk about the worst part of the movie. And also not the worst part of any movie ever. The whole emo Peter stuff was hilarious, and I think that's what they were going for. I think the reason why people hate it so much is because it is kind of stupid, because the original source material took it so seriously. Like, really freaking seriously. That was just like a major plot event going on in the Spider-Man storyline, but then here it's treated as kind of more of a haha, let's laugh at this because he's a nerd who thinks he's super cool. But honestly, looking at it, not ironically, but looking at it as a joke, it's funny. It's funny. And then the dance number scene was kind of one of those things where it's so dumb, it's good. Everybody loves to talk about how in the first 2 movies, oh, the campiness is part of it. It's part of the campy. And this one, really, that's just cringy. But then in this movie, all the cringy stuff is seen as stupid. Why is that? Why is that? I don't know. So then, it's not Flash Thompson. Whoever, Brock, I can't remember his name. The other photographer guy, he was pretty compelling. Not compelling, he was pretty interesting, to say the least. He made a perfectly fine villain. I did like how Harry did die at the end. It was symbolic, I guess. I don't know, if I sound tired, it's because I am. This movie was actually really good. Way better than I ever expected it to be. Which is why I am putting it above Spider-Man 2 on my list. That's right, it goes 3-2-1 on the list, going 3-2-1. So, I do think overall Spider-Man 2 is a better film, like a better actual film. But something I look forward to in films is just having a good time. That's why I like the cinematic universe so much, and I can get into that to a totally different video. I'll probably get into that on my Spider-Man Far From Home and Homecoming rewatches. So I just had more fun with this film. This film was just more fun. It didn't take itself as seriously as Spider-Man 2, and it wasn't as dumb as Spider-Man 1, So there you go. There's my ranking. Next time we're going to be watching The Amazing Spider-Man. These are a series of movies I'm really interested in watching. Thank you guys for watching. I had a video of Cinema Wins. It was going up as I was in the corner. I just figured y'all needed something to look at. Go check out his video. Thank you guys for watching. Video over. Man, my voice sounds weird.